Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Christopher Garza Real Estate News, where there's going to be no selling, just a bunch of good information for you or your family or your dog. I don't know, whoever decides to watch this, or cat. I'm not just a dog person. So today, without getting too far into that tantrum I was about to get on who watches TV and who does not, because my dog definitely does watch TV. Uh, Interest rates, man, they're definitely affecting the game a lot more than they have. Not only in the past, but at least in the past 3 years for sure, which is all the stats you can see that I'll show you later on are just going to be the past 3 years. Sometimes I do 10 years to compare it, but I really just wanted to kind of buckle down and since after COVID, everything's really been affected in a certain way as far as not only inventory, but after the mortgage-backed securities, all these other things affected interest rates. It really is the big driving factor right now, at least in this area, with such high prices being in West Seattle, South Seattle, Tukwila, all that. It really is a driving factor on not only people looking for homes and what kind of price range they can actually fit into, but also people not wanting to get out of their low interest rates that they had, 2, 3 years ago that they either refinanced in or bought a new house in. Why would they want to trade that up to a 7 or a high 6 in the interest rate spectrum? Well, they don't. And you can definitely see that with the stats that we're going to go through today. Uh, I am going to quote the Northwest MLS, which, if you don't know what the MLS is, or the multiple listing service, just to kind of gloss over it real quick, it is a place where you can list your home. Not you, but real estate agents can list your home. You can, pay $200 to a real estate agent, and they can throw it on there for you. If you didn't feel like working with an agent, they can actually put your home on the multiple listing service. It's just like a $200 fee. It throws it on there, and it's a for sale by owner type of deal, but it does get eyeballs. Kind of what I was trying to say. Multiple listing service is a place in which all these homes are going to be shown. So 50 years ago, there used to be a book that had all the homes, addresses, phone numbers, with all these homes that were for sale. Now it's a lot easier. We have, computers and all this technology. So we have a place in which we can throw all those homes on, and that's what the multiple listing service is. They also do a lot more. They put out stats, they put out press releases, which again, this is what this is from. And yeah, there's a whole lot that goes into the multiple listing service, being a part of the MLS, training, all this other good stuff. So this is where I got it from and what the Northwest multiple listing service is. And again, this is just Northwest. So that's going to be Washington, all of Washington state, and other states have different listing services. So we're not going to be able to grab information from Texas or from Alaska. So before we get too far into that, the housing market downturn inevitable with higher rates, but brokers find bright spots. Whatever that means, bright spots. It should be like housing market in a deep, dark, inevitable downturn. That would go well with the bright spots. Sorry, I like capturing headings, so the whole bright spots, they should have put some sort of a shade or dark in there. That would have made that really capturing title. Alrighty. So before we get into kind of what all of is going on in the market at the moment, if you wouldn't mind, like, share, and subscribe. It's just going to be a lot of, again, good information that I can get out to you. And the areas that I'm going to be talking about are strictly going to be residential, no condominiums or any of those types of homes. It's just going to be residential, and it's going to be in these actual markets right here. So we have Des Moines, SeaTac, Tukwila, kind of that South and West Seattle area down there. Now, as far as 7-day running numbers goes, it has been pretty much for every home that's gone on the market, almost 2 homes have come off the market. Now, within the past, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks, it's kind of not really stepped up to there. I'd say about, for every home that's come on the market, almost to have come off the market. And that doesn't mean they are actually coming off the market. The pending here that I have highlighted, which says 114, that just means that they are under contract. Now, being under contract doesn't mean that you have sold your house. So if it's under contract and it has not sold, then that means that that home is going to stay on the market. So we see these new listings, listings pending, and listings sold down here. Right now, we're seeing new listings at 81 and pending at 114. Back on market is 15, and then sold is actually 57. So the sold right here, if you look at this and this, it's only half. So the actual sold to pending, just for what we show right here, is actually only half. So that's an interesting stat that we'll come back to later on. And it shows a little bit of a slowdown as well as maybe a kind of a normalization. And also at the same time, you'll see that people are kind of getting used to the higher interest rates, and it's not pulling people back as much. Now interest rates, again, really high. They've risen up there into the high sixes, into the sevens, depending on what your credit score, down payment, all this other stuff is. You'll talk to a lender to kind of figure out the exact rate bracket that you kind of fit in, and then it changes daily, hourly. This is not a rate that's going to be that you're going to get into if you sign, let's just say right now or tomorrow. It's gonna go up and down by the minute, by the hour. So definitely keep that in mind. This is not something that is a solid thing right here. Whenever you go to a lender and you say, oh, well, you told me it was going to be 6.8, but talk to your lender about it. Make sure you understand that completely, because again, you're not completely locked into a certain rate, and whether or not it goes up or down, you really got to make sure you lock right into that rate if you are getting into it. So that's just a little going over the interest rate thing and why this differentiates from what you might see on the Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac websites. Now, this right here is a chart that shows a percentage of original list price in the blue as opposed to days on market. And why I'm showing you this is because the somewhat normalization or people being okay with kind of higher interest rates is really being seen here. So this is last year. We have, last year, March of last year, interest rates started rising up. So March, April, May, and then they started getting up there in the high fives. So you really get to see the effect of that here in the orange right after the July area. It's the actual days on market rose way up, and then the percentage of original list price started falling even more and more. Now, was that because of people putting their homes on the market for too high? Maybe they were used to the previous market that was going on before the interest rates were super high, and they thought, oh, well, I'm not going to accept anything lower than what Johnny got up the street. He sold it for $1 million when interest rates were 3%. There's no way I'm going to accept anything lower than that. So, and that's part of what's going on right there. And you can see people kind of started realizing, hey, I might have gone a little bit overpriced, or, maybe interest rates are affecting not only what people can afford, but how many people are actually looking on the market right now. Now, don't take that as the wrong way. There is a huge pent-up buyer demand. We do not have enough homes, and we have not had enough homes for the past 3 years. We've been way short on homes. We should be at about 18 to 20,000 homes when we have about 6,000 to 7,000 homes at the moment in the entire MLS. So that's kind of just to show you where we should be and kind of where we're at the moment. But without going off on that tangent, interest rates, days on market went way up. Original list price went down. This is last year. We have 99.5% for this area of what you would have gotten on your original list price. So if you would have priced it at $1 million, and you most likely with this thing would have gotten $995,000 for it, for the percentage of original list price. Now that's not all encompassing or anything. That's just an average on that. But right now what you're seeing is days on market actually lowered throughout the year. People were saying, interest rates probably aren't going to go down too much. This is going to be the new norm, and I have to live somewhere. I can't, put X reason in there. I can't do X, and boom. So you see right here that not only are days on market going down, but percentage of original list price started going up as well. So people were pricing their homes properly. Buyers started seeing, oh my gosh, I really need to get into a house. And it's probably not going to go back down into the threes for the next 100 years. Who knows? It was a ridiculous interest rate 2-3 years ago. And now we're seeing kind of what you would see as normal-ish, a little bit higher than normal, but normal-ish interest rates. But compared to 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that's ridiculous is what everybody's saying. So why the heck would I want to do that? That's twice as much. Well, it's kind of going to be the new norm, so we should probably get used to it. Next chart here, we're going to talk about, and this is kind of the interesting chart here. This is where you really see a little bit of a gap between the sold homes and the homes for sale. So the homes for sale here in the green is actually going to be what we would call inventory. You want about 3 to 4 months of inventory for a normal balanced market. Right now, I think we're sitting at 1.1 month of inventory, somewhere around there for this actual area. We are super low, super low. But as you can see here, a year ago, the homes for sale started going way up again, and the sold homes were kind of plummeting down because of those interest rates. I mean, that is a huge plummet down right there on July. And that's right there is where we started raising the interest rates. I say it's kind of mortgage-backed securities. You got a lot of things that are affecting the interest rates. The feds don't actually control them. They have a little bit of a say in them. That's pretty much it. But what we're seeing now that's kind of interesting is those homes aren't actually being sold for the most part for some reason or another. And there's a little bit of a gap actually forming right now going into the actual slower on record winter season. So, it's hot as heck. Hopefully everybody's staying cold out there, but I'm starting to sweat right now in this jacket. Again, very interesting. See a little bit of a gap here, which is going to be interesting to see how it plays out and to see kind of what's going to go on for the winter market, with interest rates possibly coming down with what everybody's saying later on in the Q4 quarter or the fourth quarter. It's going to be interesting to kind of check it out, and definitely stay tuned on this channel. Maybe, you'll get a little bit more information and be able to make that great business decision for yourself. So this is going to be a little bit of the article. The article was a really long article. It kind of it was a roller coaster of up and down. Real estate's awesome. Real estate sucks. Real estate's awesome. Real estate sucks. So it was kind of hard to decipher a lot of what was good information and what was just kind of numbers that shouldn't have been used. I think they used like a Douglas County or something, which had 50 sales last year. And they said it was up by a certain percentage, which when you only have 50 sales, you can't really base a lot of statistics off of just those 50 sales in one entire year. So just going to put that out there. And some of these stats that were looking good that they were quoting, lower stats. You jump up a lot more whenever you have lower numbers as far as percentages. But Beeson, who expressed some optimism, he said there are high expectations for 2024 and 2025 from many industry leaders, and he quotes Lawrence Yun and Brian Buffini. He says, as experts who expect better markets ahead, they anticipate inventory loosening up with more resale and new construction, but that doesn't mean, as they say here, that the prices are going to lower. Skip down there. That doesn't mean that prices are going to lower. They said they predict lower interest rates, but don't see lower prices. And that's a whole nother topic. I did kind of talk about it in the pricing and what that kind of means in one of my last videos, which I'll actually throw right on up there for you if you did want to check that out. Once viewed as a recession is unavoidable. Again, a lot of people 2-3 years ago, market's going to burst. There's a bubble. this, that, and the other. Oh my gosh, real estate's going down. Don't buy. Buy Bitcoin. Whoever said that. Golly. Anyway, all those people were wrong. Once viewed as a recession is unavoidable, and it now see it as unlikely when rate come down. So we will see how that does play out. And again, feel free to view my channel and smash that subscribe button. And I will see you next week. Have a good day or night. Yeah, stay cool.